Are we live?
Yeah, yeah.
It always amazes me how I'm the one who starts it and I never know when we're live or
We've
not.
been live for like 15 seconds at least.
Well, if that's the case, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Players, apparently.
Well, we'll know if maybe we're not live. But if we're not live, doesn't that mean no, can't be that.
We're not that either.
No.
Uh, but what we are is waiting for. Look, I literally just got the we're live thing,
Now?
and
Oh,
it's like 43 seconds in.
yeah. Okay, well, we'll see how the first 43 seconds of the show look recorded.
That cuts into the moment of Sven time.
Well,
The moment of Sven. Oh, wait. The moment of Sven time.
oh, he is. Oh,
Jared Goff. Oh my gosh.
wow. He's getting good at this, man. He's starting to get like the right nuances at this point.
I don't know what it said except for Jared Goff, but just the fact that I see Jared Goff's name. All righty.
I'm going something like Indonesian, but something in that universe. Anyway, Malaysian, Indonesian, some sort of Asian,
Pick a Jin.
Southeast Asian
Pick
language
just one
that's
Jin.
not a major.
Pick one.
I'll pick Indonesian, but I'm not certain on this one. I may be way off too, but I'm guessing it could be. For all I know, it's Finnish. I don't think it's that, but we'll see.
I don't think that's Finnish.
No, I don't think I got this one. I'm gonna go Indonesian, but I don't think I got it.
All right, Sven. He's going Indonesian. Let us know what it is and what did Jared Goff say. I mean, I'm intrigued. I wonder if he said something bad about like Sean McVay or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, Sven. We're wait. I didn't mean to do that. We're waiting with bated breath. What exactly is bated breath? I
don't know. The word is baited is not like BAIT. It's BATED. So
as long as it's not BAD, because that would be really
bated breath means, I guess, breath held or something.
You're holding your. Are we actually holding our breaths?
No, but really. I'm going to actually look it up because I'm not sure. And these are the things I used to know, but I'm getting older.
Okay.
Bated breath.
Santilli. What the hell is that?
Wait. I never even heard of that. Kind of India. India?
What does that mean? Kind of India? Finn, what is
an Indian regional dialect?
Maybe that kind of, maybe you're right.
Man, does that mean it's an Indian regional dialect? You know what? Getting that one wrong, I don't feel so bad. First of all, because Indian characters are not the same as Roman characters. Secondly, and I assume they were a Roman character use, or whatever the characters are called that we ordinarily use. You've seen Indians, Hindi, language writing. It's not that. So I don't feel bad. Secondly, I'm good at languages, not necessarily every dialect in the world. Okay.
Sven's New Year's resolution must have been to like
bated breath means nervous excitement.
Yeah, I'm not all that nervous.
Right.
So it's not baited and it's definitely not bad. Anyway, so
by accident, it happens through hard work and raising the standard every week.
Jared Goff said that?
I guess so.
He might have said that as a lion as opposed to as a ram. I don't know.
Well, you would have remembered if it was he said as a ram.
I don't remember much of him saying anything when he was a ram, so I don't know.
Matthew,
but that's a good one.
The MVP. That was a great one. But again, if we're going to dialects, then this is where my language my language recognition skills will decrease massively.
Oh, we got our buddy Shashi saying, I heard Indian dialects. Which 500 plus are we talking? There's 500? Wow.
Well, yeah, that's not shocking. I mean, there's
500. That's a lot
of states in India.
Google for Santelli.
Santelli. I am going to do.
I know. I knew that guy Rick Santelli on CNBC, but
yeah, I don't think that.
Not talking about that guy.
He invented it. He invented it. Santali is a Kurwarian Munda language spoken natively by the Santai people of South Asia. It's the most widely spoken language of the Munda subfamily of the Austroasiatic languages.
Wow.
What country do they reside in?
I want to know if Jared Goff actually.
It's a tribal language.
I want to know if Jared Goff actually said that in Santali. That would be really.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what he said. Why sort of India, spoken by about 7.6 million people in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. That's why. So it kind of spans India. It's part of it, but it's pretty much independent of anything. It's not really an Indian dialect. It's a language unto itself. I just never didn't even know
that. That's good. That's up for grabs. It's
yeah. I didn't even know the Santai existed, much less they had a language.
Things you learn on this show.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one. Again, Sven, you got two really great ones lately. And both of them stumped me completely, which, it's not.
Wait a minute. It's not time for that yet.
Never time for that. Ever.
You know what it's time for?
No,
it's
what?
Time for telling you that we've been doing this since 2009.
Bringing it.
And literally, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the article that you posted introducing us went up January 26th of 2009. So we're like 4 days short of 17 years.
So it'll hit. So today's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, day after the snowstorm.
Oh, great. Oh, you know what? I could have just done this. I didn't realize I had that.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. I had actual dark hair back then.
I was wearing a black and white picture.
Yeah, no, it actually is dark hair. I really did have hair then. And then I'm wearing a sports jacket and a tie, which I haven't worn since 2009.
Wow.
So that's amazing.
That's so this is a historical picture for a number of reasons then.
Yeah, no, and I'm looking at Sven's comments on it. He's right. It did only take me 1 second last week. I knew it right away.
Wow.
It was a good one. No, Sven, this was tough. This was a really good one. Like a really good one.
So speaking of a little bit of a historical photo, guess when this one was taken?
Oh, about let's see, a year ago.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of those Facebook memory things. 1 year ago, this was taken. And where was this taken?
Let me think. Let's see. Wasn't AI World? Why? Hey, why is it? Speaking of, I know what it is. It's IRL 2025. But why is it inverted?
I don't know.
Look at the back. Look at IRL and all the. It's completely mirrored.
I don't know. It's blame it on Colder Ice. He took.
I know. That's where I saw it too this morning. Shashi, there you are, dude.
Shashi's everywhere, man.
Yeah, there you are, man.
And guess what?
What?
It was a storm going on, and we decided, you know what? If we're gonna do this again, let's move it back. Because although it's probably not gonna happen ever again, that we're gonna have an ice/snowstorm here in Atlanta in January 20th or so. But just to be on the safe side, let's move it back a couple of months. And guess what? That was the right call.
Yeah, it damn was.
As we sit here awaiting another snow and ice storm.
Yeah. Of course, it would miss the conference because the conference would have just occurred.
Well, but
we did good. We did the right thing.
I think we got it. Yeah, we're to be on the safe side. Probably the right thing.
Should we? You want to give a little bit of talk about our engagement efforts at the conference a little bit?
Let's see. Let me do this.
Oh, you got something ready already. There we go.
Oh, I gotta have something to talk about. The date is not January 22nd. The date is now March 12th, and the 11th is a bit of a opening reception and maybe something else going on then. But go ahead, let her rip.
So here's something else we decided to do, which we thought was pretty interesting, really. So, well, let me actually ask you this. Should we say anything about the awards? What do you think?
Nah, we need to flesh them out a little bit.
We'll go to the other one. All right. So one of the things, as you know, we've done at all the IRLs since the first one, which was the one, is we actually simultaneously, starting at noon, streamed our shows alongside with in the community room, alongside with the main stage stuff going on in the main stage room. Well, this year we're going to do that, but one of the slots, well, that's actually more than one slot, but one of the, it's sort of a series of short slots, are going to be devoted to something different. And everyone listening here is welcome to be one of the people who participate in this, but you do have to appear at the conference. We are going to create 3 slots, 10 minutes apiece. And we are going to look for submissions from people out here who are intending to come. And if you have always dreamed about doing a podcast or a live stream show, well, we're going to give you that opportunity. We're going to have 3 people who are going to do 10 minutes each. These will be live streamed. We'll help you and support you with whatever production we can. And then the audience is going to vote on the one that they like the best. There'll be some things for the winner, but right now we don't really want to say what they are because we don't really know what they are. But if you're one of these people who really thought you had a great idea and you wanted to take a crack at it, let us know on LinkedIn. It could be in the comments today. It could be on LinkedIn later. It could be send an email to me at paul-greenberg3@the56group.com and let me know. Yeah, I'd like to take a crack at that 10 minutes. Again, 3 of you. So if we have 20, we're only picking 3. Now, the criteria, very simple, within the realm of what Brent and I do. Okay. So it's going to be focused around B2B or something like that. Again, you could be a little bit flexible in terms of the approach. It could be related to culture. It could be related to things like that, but it still has to be within the realm of B2B. Obviously, we're CXCRM focused, so doing an ERP live stream is not what we're looking for. Doesn't mean you can't, but your odds of being chosen as one of the 3 are less. Let's just say that. Just figure it out. Let me know. Let Brent know. And after we're going to start putting out the public call officially, just giving you a head start now, over probably early next week. This will be really cool. There'll be 3 of you. Audiences will vote. One of you will actually have succeeded at doing your first live streamed episode of whatever your show is.
All righty. So once again, March 11th is the kind of the opening evening reception, and maybe it's something that happens the day of the 11th, but the official day of the event is March the 12th. All was 8:30 to 4 or something like that, 4:30, something like that. Still building out the agenda, but we know, like, our buddy, the esteemed Dr. Michael Wu, will be speaking and talking about AI making us lunatics or something like that.
No, in a world of AI, what lunatics can teach us.
Yeah, that I kind of like AI.
What can we learn from the lunatics? That's his way of
the lunacy. And there's definitely going to be more, and hopefully some things that we tried to do last year are actually going to work. We're still looking into that and hoping, and
let's say this: we have a much better shot this year since the problems happened last year. Now we know that they happened.
Yeah. So, but anyway, didn't you say if people are interested, they can email you or something like that?
Yeah. So again, paul-greenberg3@the56group.com. I'll put it in. You'll see it come in as PPN in wherever the hell this comment goes that I'm putting in right now.
Oh, you can choose. Shashi will be there. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Shashi will actually be doing one of his episodes, so he can't compete since he actually has a show on our network, and it's a great show. And he is one of the other 4 shows that is going to be live streamed from the conference. You know, rock stars get that privilege.
Wow. All right. All right. So before we bring on our guest to talk about one of those big shows that just went on in NRF, right?
Yep.
Sometimes I get these acronyms all jacked up, but I think that's National Retail Federation. I thought it was a National Retail Foundation.
Yeah, that's the nonprofit wing.
And now it's the National Retail Federation. That reminds me of the good old days of the WWF. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
It used to be the Federation. And
the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, before they had to change it because there was some kind of like animal organization or something that sued them because they were the WWF. Nobody ever heard of these folks. Everybody knew what the WWF was, but they had to change because of that. Anyway. So we had what do we call that thing? What do you call the I just call it the happy hour, but you have some kind of name for it.
Oh, it's called the Good Place. And those of you who are fans of Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well,
the Good Place.
Guess that means I'm not.
That's the name of our happy hour.
Anyway, so we were on this really interesting conversation that was around all these enterprise application software vendors are just, they've been getting slaughtered when it comes to their price on the stock market. And then, I've been talking about this for a while. Matter of fact, I had to pull this up because I had to remember how far did this go back. So there, I wrote this little post on LinkedIn. And it was just I was wondering why are all the enterprise software vendors just getting slaughtered, like Adobe, Salesforce, HubSpot, ServiceNow. ServiceNow is actually, back then it was hanging in there. It is completely capitulated since then. Oracle too. All these companies that were doing, like, there was like a certain number of folks of these enterprise software companies that have been getting hammered for like the last 2 years almost, like Adobe and a few others. And then there were some that were kind of holding out for a while, ServiceNow and Microsoft, Oracle. Now they're all getting slammed. Yep. And so we had this conversation about what is this? This is some sort of a sign. Why are all these companies, all these software companies that are putting AI into their offerings, why are they not getting like some of the shine that the actual hardware kind of AI players like the NVIDIAs and the Broadcoms and now the Microns and that are just doing kid. And I was blown away by the number of impressions that thing got, like 108. I don't think I've ever gotten anything like that before. So there's a lot of interest. So that kind of conversation has been going on and on for like since then, like even before then. And then we had a similar conversation around that yesterday in the happy hour. And then I got this, I think it was Keith Tier that sent me this article, and I can't tell you the article, or I can't show you the article because it's a part of something important. Guess what it's a part of?
I have no idea.
And now
it's always happened to me.
Stump the Godfather with the venerable Paul Greenberg.
I have to cut it off there before it says.
We're gonna fix that. we got to get that fixed right away.
Yeah, we can't let that go. But so this is why I bring this up. If I can only get this here. All right. So this time around, somebody brought some really interesting stat to my attention, and I said, why not use it as a part of Stump the Godfather? So the median SaaS stock is down 14 through 17% year to date. So we've only been out 3 weeks into this year, and all these software companies, the median is pretty much cratered.
So this is all software companies in the world?
No, SaaS.
All SaaS companies in the world.
I'm not saying that.
I'll tell you, SaaS companies.
These are like the ones that we all know that are publicly traded, that are in our industry, that kind of thing.
And there's a source for this.
Yes, I will show it to you after you all take guesses.
That's the
So
one I trust because that's a pretty broad way of putting it.
it's one that you might not have heard of, but it's pretty trustable. But anyway, so the median 14 down 14 to 70%. But what percentage of software companies are down? Of all the software companies out there, what percentage?
Maybe should I give a Gartner answer or just a general answer?
Give whatever answer you want.
I'll give a Gartner answer on this one when we're ready.
And Sven and Shashi and our guest in the green room, feel free to take a guess as well. What is Sven? The stock is down, but analysts are very, very okay. But we're not going on the analyst sentiment right now. We're just going on the numbers. What percentage of stock software companies, SaaS companies, are down already this year?
I got a number, but I'll wait to see if anyone wants to respond.
Yeah, Shashi should be. Oh, Shashi came in with 34%. So he's saying, 34% of software companies are down year to date so far in this early 2026. Donnie, 68%.
Whoa, that's year to date, Donnie.
That's year to date.
That's a crash number.
You didn't say how far down, just, wait a minute. Sven, you've already, okay. Sven this is not the Price is Right, but okay. So we got 34, we got 68, and we got 69.5%. Anybody else want to get their answer in before the venerable Paul Greenberg gives you his? Once again, I'm checking to see if our guest is going to throw one in the private chat. I haven't seen anything yet.
Somebody has something there.
No, it was earlier.
Yeah. No, there's a number.
Did he just put it in?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Wow. All right. So this is really interesting. So Shashi started the ball rolling with 34%. Donnie got in there at 68%. Sven came in at 69.5%. And our guest that will be joining us right after this, 75%. You got quite the range to play with.
Yeah, well, see, I have no clue whatsoever, and I would be pretending to be told make believe if I said I did. So I will take the super conservative number for everybody here, and I will say 29 point. This is my Gartner number. My number would be 29. Gartner number is 29.368%.
So which one are you going?
I'm going Gartner number 29.368%.
All right, so we got the range from 34 all the way up to
from 29 all the way.
Oh, you're 29 all the way up to 7.
I said I'm balancing out the heavy weight on the extremes on the right side.
Okay. 29 to 75%. The answer
29.368. Phew.
64% of software companies are down. We didn't say what percentage they're down. They're just down. And 3 weeks into the new year. Sounds like there's a lot of people that are surprised by that, but the closest person is
Sven.
Donnie.
Oh, Donnie, no, Sven.
No, he's 69.5.
Oh, I thought he was 65.9. Okay, can't see. I'm not looking. Okay, then Donnie, yeah.
68. Donnie is the winner.
Wow.
But are you surprised that the year started out like that?
No, I'm not. But at a certain point, my big problem with all of these numbers that I always see are, one, unless you know the reason behind them, they impact people because of the financial aspects of them. But unless you know numbers, what's behind them, they don't mean that much at any given moment, right? Because they change dramatically all throughout, all the time, until they don't, right? But they do. Like, so, for example, I sit and look at, say, I don't bother to look at the market anymore. I just look at my own holdings and see what they'll look like. And I look at them once a day. And to me, at this point, it's just a game. Even though, if it's horrible, we could be out of money and I'm not working. But the reality is the dramatic changes in how much money I've gained and lost over, for example, a year and a half is astounding. right now I'm up from when I retired completely, which is a year ago. But if I go back a little bit before that, I was down, right? So it's all a matter of the vagaries of this thing, and so there's so many things going on. I don't give those numbers credence unless they're sustained over an extensive period of time.
Well, I think a lot of this is due because of this overhang of AI bubble stuff, and you still see, like, I've been tracking this. I have to admit there's some personal reasons here. I've been tracking stocks like Nvidia and AMD and Taiwan Semiconductor, all the kind of, I call them the picks and shovel AI plays. They're all still doing really good for the most part. But then you look at the next step away from the pick and shovel are these larger, the hyperscalers, and then the enterprise software kind of guys that have billions of dollars in revenue, and they're trying to integrate all this agentic and generative AI into their platforms and try to figure out a monetization plan for all that. And the further you're away from the pick and shovel, the better, the less you do, the worse you do, I guess. And so it's been like that for a long time for Adobe and Salesforce and HubSpot. They've been getting clobbered for the better part of the last year and a half. But just like recently, ServiceNow is in the tank right now. Oracle has been clobbered, and there's a little bit more of a rationale around Oracle than some of the others because they committed to doing this AI infrastructure build out, but doing it with a lot of debt financing. And because there's a lot of skepticism in the AI bubble, doing it with your own money is one thing, but doing it with debt is a completely other thing, and that's really taking them down a lot.
Well, to your point, one of the things that worries me, and it's one of the things that actually worries me, is if you look at him, ServiceNow, Oracle, I think. Well, let me rephrase it. There's about 20 billion companies, NVIDIA included here, that are making deals with OpenAI, and they're basically, we'll buy this if you buy that. And we'll commit $300 billion if you buy, $250 billion over the next blah, 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 blah. And it's always the nexus of all of it is OpenAI in every case. And the commitments I keep if I'm totaling up the commitments OpenAI is making, it's an astronomical number that they have absolutely no way of achieving, given even a future state of an increase of 100% of what they're doing, by 100% of what they're doing now. And that frightens me a little bit because, given, we have NVIDIA over here on the hardware side, but OpenAI is on the AI side, one of those marquee companies that impacts the market every single minute. And I could be wrong. I'm not a financial expert, but when I see them signing all those deals and making all those commitments, the first thing I keep thinking is, how in hell are they ever going to pay those out? How? They have no means to do it now. They just don't have that. They're not even.
But they have the commitment from the big vendors to give them that money.
Well, no,
it's like a circular thing going on.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you total it up, the commitment from the vendors is smaller than the commitment they're making to the vendors.
But they are making some. Scheme. They're making some revenue though off of us little guys, like $20 a month
I'm
at
aware
a time.
Of that. I'm not saying that's
but the bulk of their money is definitely coming from these.
Right, but again, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme. Okay, well, ServiceNow give us $200 million now. We can use that to buy $200 billion now. We can use that to buy $200 billion of Oracle. But our commitment to them is $300 billion. But Oracle will give us $200 billion later, and then by that time we'll have $100 billion from I don't know, SAP, or I don't know who they have deals.
Well, the thing is, from
NVIDIA.
from some of these companies, like their commitments from like Google or from Microsoft or some of these other companies that are already making like $20 billion a quarter in net income. They're like, okay, we're already printing this money, so we already have we're not really dependent on some of this. Whereas some companies aren't printing that kind of or generating that kind of net income every quarter, and they have to borrow money to meet those. That's where you're seeing a lot of those companies getting killed even more.
Oh
than
yeah.
some of these other
Well, I mean, the net effect of all of this is if you are owing a lot more revenue than you a lot more money than you're able to make in revenue, you're going to be borrowing money somewhere to meet it.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go under, right? So,
by the way, Shashi, when you write comments this long, we can't keep them too up because it almost covered up the venerable Paul Greenberg's face.
That's probably a good thing.
All right, so I mean, this is just something that I've been fascinated for a while, and I'll be keeping up with this and probably put some stuff out there around it. But the companies like Adobe, and ironically, I think we have someone who used to work there. They have a very sound business, but because they aren't able to show a monetization due strictly to their AI stuff, people aren't really giving it the credit that it probably deserves.
Right.
And they're not alone. I mean, I think Salesforce is in that boat too, and so a lot of others. But until they're able to show an ROI, these financial types, these folks that are doing all the trading and stuff, they ain't buying it. And I think that's part of why the bubble has persisted so much. It's because it's not about the pick and shovel guys. They always make their money. You go back to like the 1849, the gold rush. The folks who made all the money weren't the tin pans. It was the guys selling the tin pans, the materials, and the shovels and the picks and the Levi Strauss. They make the money, but how does the money actually go from the makers, the folks that make the tools, to the folks that actually use the stuff to make money on their own? It hasn't been proven out to the level that some of these financial analyst kind of folks are looking for.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's we could go on forever because that's history, really. Period. Yep. I mean, it's the industries that go up around things that tend to be the sustainers of those industries, so to speak, and those things. I mean, the real question becomes, when a gold rush, for example, starts petering out, are the pick and shovel guys have something else to do with those picks and shovels? Yeah, okay, you can dig up a lawn, you can chop you can do. Meaning, they have to build out longer term sustainable models. Even if, look, it's like remember there was all these the Groupon and all those other kind of one-time wonders. They're there for a while and then they fade and there's nothing sustainable about them. But in the case of, to your gold rush point, people who produce picks and shovels thought, okay, well, these are tools, and we can do things with these tools that are not just mining and panning for gold. And they figured out what to do with them. And that's industrial revolutions always work like that, right? Every one of them ever, or any revolution any revolution that sustains economies and creates businesses. And, it's not all industry per se, agriculture too. Look, I'll give you one quick example before we go all the way back to the 13th century. One of the biggest things, they had yokes for they had yoke in Europe. They had the way they were getting yield was they had oxen who were yoked, right? They had yoked oxen, and that was better than people manually doing the labor. They had the oxen pulling things and so on. Somebody said, you know what? We need the yokes really work really well, but the oxen don't work as well. So we need horses, right? So we need horses who are yoked. And you know what? With that, including that and the development of the water wheel, they quintupled and also a few other things, but generally they quintupled the agricultural output. The yoke continued. That was the business part, but the vehicle for the yoke changed, and that's what made the difference. But the yoke was there before the horse. In effect, as a unit of work, the yoke was there before the horse was there, right, so to speak. So that's that's the way it works. I've done extensive work on that era, and it's what you're saying about history is literally goes that far back and further, really.
And who knew that you were
Is one
a yoke expert?
No, 13th century. Anything on the 13th century, you ask me.
Like the robber barons and all those kind of folks?
Oh no, this is long before robber barons. Robber barons are like even the Venetian and Florentine battles and the merchant guild wars. This long before that. It's 2 centuries before that.
Now you're getting back. No, I was
1200s.
Yeah, we're getting back to the Crusades. Some of that. Yeah.
But we're at the end of the crusade. Toward the end of the Crusades.
Well, we're going to start a new crusade with our guests, which I am keying up for you to do what you do best, the voodoo that you do best. Introducing today's guest, the Venerable Paul Greenberg.
All right. So I met this gentleman. He's been on the show before, so those who don't remember, I will repeat something. I met this gentleman when he was running the retail industry practice at Adobe. And I remember I would go there as an analyst to the Adobe summits, and I met, and they had arranged for me to meet him the first time, but every single time after that, I wanted to sit down with him, so I would ask for him, right, as one of my one-on-ones, because we always had amazing conversations. This guy knew his stuff inside and out about retail, like inside and out, to a level that was amazing, and plus, incredibly nice person. Loved him right away. And of course, that's probably all the icing on the cake. The actual cake, diehard Yankees fan.
Oh wow.
Right? As diehard as me. Right. So we really, it was just love at first sight, really. I mean, and I am not kidding. I guess we probably saw each other at maybe 4 or 5 summits. 3 or 4 summits. The first one, I didn't know him. I met him, and every other one after that, unless he was, couldn't do it, every other one I always asked for him as one of my one-on-ones, because I wanted to sit down and catch up and also see what's going on in retail. Now he's on his own and he's consulting. And again, all that experience leads to doing amazing advisory work too. And so you're talking about one of the key guys out there on, if you have anything that you're doing in the retail world, you don't have to be a retailer. If you're doing anything with the retail world, he's the man. And if he was at NRF, National Retail Federation, which is one of the largest conferences in the United States, actually. And Brent came up with a great idea. Let's get him on the show and let's talk about this. And for me, another great opportunity to see Michael. So, ladies and gents, Michael Klein. And there's
hey guys, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, we got Cody. We got Cody.
Okay,
I know.
So we're not going to talk about the Bellinger signing this week.
No, I just already said it. We got Cody.
I can just go off screen now.
Yeah, you can leave now, bro. We're good now, and we didn't get Peralta.
So on the Stump, I looked at my phone, and I think most of the ones I'm following, including NVIDIA, are down this year. But the only one I saw that was up was Google.
Good reason. Google is the one that they just did this thing. I guess it went live. At first, it was a beta. They call it personal insights or personal intelligence. And so you can sign up to allows I guess Gemini to access all your Google Apps data, and then it uses that as part of Gemini's experience. And so I did this. I was telling Paul I did this a couple of days ago because I saw the notice, like, yeah, I'll try it out. And so after you connect all your your Gmail, your search, your all the stuff, I guess YouTube, then it gives you this little message that says, Now that we are acquainted, I feel like I can help you do so much more. And then it goes into this thing about here's what I learned about you. And damn, I mean, it went to some stuff that I somehow forgot some of the stuff that I did or some of the things that I was looking at. But it gives you here's 3 things that you do really well, and it gets detailed, and it's like, shoot, it's kind of amazing, but it's also kind of scary.
Huh? It's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Just,
Big Brother, and you know,
well, you know,
imagine how fast the processing is to get all that data together in one as quickly as it does too.
how was all that treated at NRF? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, you couldn't walk 5 feet without seeing the word agentic somewhere. And it obviously, because it was a retail show, it was all about agentic commerce. If I look back a year ago, 2025 NRF, you started to see agentic start to creep into the dialogue, but now it's front and center. I think that the big movement is, and talking about Google, and I'll mention this in a second here, is how do you orchestrate all this stuff? Because there's all these, you can now have however many agents your team can either develop or deploy. And in the world of retail, whether that's from product discovery to transactions to customer service and where's my order to loyalty reminders, you can have an agent for each one of those, right? And there's probably somebody out there that's willing to or is filling that niche from a solution perspective. But I think that just like data and the challenge of perpetuating data silos, we can be in this situation where we start to perpetuate AI agent silos, and what that means for the experience, right? So where I saw some interesting shift is those that are trying to move away from single-threaded agent to multi-agent. And when I was chatting and going back and forth with Brand, the other big buzz on the floor was the Google announcement that was made on the first or second day. The acronym, because we love acronyms in the world of technology, is UCP, the Unified Commerce Protocol. And I'm going to read this directly from the Google press release. A new open standard for agentic commerce that works across the entire entire shopping journey, from discovery to buying post-purchase support. Common language for agents and systems. They've got partners like Lowe's and Monos Luggage that are starting to test these waters. And if you look at it,
what would a test of those waters look like, even?
So it's, from a consumer perspective, it's basically being in Google search and having much more of a frictionless shopping experience within the search. And that's everything from transactional to deep product information, and like anything Google does, they're trying to get a little bit more stickiness, right? I mean, over the years, they've lost search share, because how many people now go to Amazon first when they're looking for a product rather than doing a web search or
Right.
browser search? So it'll be interesting to see, who jumps on board with this. Obviously, if you looked at the press release, They've got some big brands that are part of this protocol, including Walmart, not just Lowe's, Wayfair, Gap, as well as providers like payment providers that are supporting the protocol. The gateways, Adyen is one that I see listed here. So Visa.
So you got so you kind of have, because we were just talking about that personal intelligence thing that they just did. It feels like these things are really going to be connected in a way that allows Google to have, either through traditional search or through Gemini, to be able to, as you said, capture more or recapture more of the stickiness that allows them to transition or take all this activity and move it more seamlessly and frictionlessly into a transactional experience, whether you're doing traditional Google searches or if you're in Gemini and you're using it from that experience. And I think you mentioned that the Google stock price is the one that's kind of hanging around. Do you see anybody else that has the potential to go as wide, the depth and breadth that Google has, because they already have our data from a search perspective, the Gmail perspective, a YouTube perspective, even now, of course, Chrome and with Gemini, but now doing stuff like this, they're able to do things that it doesn't feel like others are able to do because they just have so many tentacles out there.
Well, they do. I think it's going, so rather than make a statement of who else can be that big, is the fragmentation potentially that we're going to see, because you now see ChatGPT and OpenAI getting into the commerce space. There was an announcement just this morning of the Shopify. So if you're a Shopify merchant as of today, you can now transact through ChatGPT to the tune of a 4% commission to OpenAI.
Whoa.
4%. That's pretty nice.
Well, especially if given what it's, it's kind of automatic in a manner of speaking, right? So, well, actually,
that's the chart that I've seen is, you pay 15% to Amazon and Walmart for the referral fee. So, and how many folks are now starting in Perplexity or ChatGPT to get more information? It's not the majority, but it is a growing size of the population of those that realize that, Google, obviously, it's a pay to play. Some of those results may be fairly biased based on who's paying to be on page one. And that ChatGPT, depending on where they sit, and as long as they don't move into the pay to play, and they're still bringing unbiased results, or at least, the bias is going to be, and this was another conversation on the show floor, is, I at one time as a brand had to make sure that I was getting indexed by Google search. Now I need to make sure that the LLMs are including my product catalogs, my information, my pricing, my inventory, that's all also getting indexed now by the LLMs. It's an interesting moment to be in retail and commerce, and what AI can do. We heard a lot about the hybrid workforce. I think there's no disputing that we're going to see efficiencies and some people leave the building. But I did see, and I'm also a big believer that while AI may or may not replace you, a human that is leveraging AI will more than likely replace you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. And the basic training is now AI when you see it. I mean, I'll tell you one thing that's interesting too. one of the AI I use most of the time is Claude, so it's Anthropic, and something happened a couple of days ago that goes right to the heart of everything you just said, and it was changed. So typically with Anthropic, with Claude, if I'd say, hey, I need you to go, onto Amazon and find the 5 things, these 5 of these kind of things, so give me some ideas, and they would always say I can't directly access Amazon. Da 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 da. Now this time when I said that, because I was literally looking just for pillowcases, really, and I wanted high quality, high thread count pillowcases, and I wanted them to be deliverable within a day or two. They said, "Are you okay with me integrating with Chrome?" They have a Chrome integration. And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, a new instance of Chrome pops up in the left corner. It says MCP, right? And then screens start popping up everywhere, right? Not annoyingly, just they're popping up, and you can minimize it, but this is via the Claude interface. Okay, it's doing all this, and then what comes back is everything I asked for, but they went right into Amazon and got everything, and the only thing they didn't do is transact, right? But they did everything else you needed as a personal shopper, right, to give you what you asked for, and they gave me exactly what I asked for, and it was odd because it had to be 23 by or 20, something like 23 by 43, because of an odd shaped long pillow and blah 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 blah, and they found them all, but they did it by integrating with Chrome, and then utilizing that to go to Amazon and getting into Amazon directly. And then it was, there's requests for permission. Said, can Claude, would you be willing to allow Claude to access or Anthropic actually is what it said, to access and you have to allow it, have to give it permission. And the usual decline, accept always, those were your options. But Claude's doing that where in the past it couldn't. And in the meantime, they're adding permanent memory to another part of the product, which we'll call coworker, right? Yeah. But imagine permanent memory tied to this. I mean, it's basically going to own you, right? It'll pretty much own what it knows about you. It'll pretty much know you inside and out and remember everything about it too.
What I'm curious is, there's a bunch of, with that example, Paul, there's quite a few high-end digital native brands like Boll & Branch, Brooklinen,
yep,
Blissy, that's now available through Nordstrom and maybe even Amazon. I've not looked. I'm curious why you only got results back from Amazon.
Oh, because I asked for that. I specifically asked it, right? I said it because I knew Amazon could ship it to me before the snowstorm, right? So I didn't want to risk anybody else. I to your point, I literally tonight I don't need anything, but I'm gonna test exactly that to see where else it goes.
Yeah. So you were getting ready to hibernate.
Yeah, no, not really, but I'm getting ready to get more pillowcases.
Can we talk about, because I've never really been to an NRF before, but I always felt like a lot of stuff kind of revolved around the two biggest like retailers, well, definitely Amazon, and I guess they used to kind of set the pace for a lot of what went on in retail, particularly online retail. Did it feel different this year? Did it feel like it wasn't like that this year? Is it more of a open movement away towards like an Amazon centric, particularly when it comes to online? I know there's a lot of individual brands that do their own commerce stuff, but it just felt like Amazon was always in the forefront. Is it different now?
It's a sea of, well, first of all, it's in the Javits Center. It takes over the entire Javits Center. There's the main floor. There's the downstairs, which is kind of the dungeon, and that's where the up and coming brands are. There's an innovation center. There's a food service section. They just did that. They just launched that. I think this was either the second or third year where they're, so 40,000 people. It's a global event. You hear Sunday is affectionately known as International Day because you hear all kinds of languages. Very large Brazilian contingency always there on Sunday. So I really felt that while AWS has a big presence on the floor, they're no bigger than Microsoft, Manhattan Associates, SAP, Adobe, Blue Yonder. They all have very large boot space, and they kind of they dominate the main floor. But I certainly continue to see an interesting rotation of new vendors that come in and because they're new and they've only been around for a year or two, and there's a lottery system to get a booth there.
Wow.
They're in that lower floor, so it's an interesting floor to walk. But you have to really, kind of know what you're looking for because half those companies may not even be around next year, for all you know. Yeah, I don't know if I would say, and you don't see, even though it says National Retail Federation, you don't see, other than Amazon and Walmart, you don't, other than reading somebody's badge, the exhibitors aren't really retailers. They're all the solution providers. The show's been going on for decades. When it first started, it was kind of, that's where if you needed a new POS system or cash registers or shelving in your store, that's where it started. That's how this thing, and then eventually it kept getting, tech started taking over and it got a bigger portion, and now it's a tech show. And then the other thing, thinking about that, you did see I wouldn't say an abundance, but you do see a presence of robotics. There are several companies that are, whether it's inventory management, replenishment. You've seen some of these in the grocery store sometimes. There's a company called Simbay. So, it's robotics is certainly, especially with large format retailers, going to have a place as well. And there are a handful of brand providers out there that are going to provide those solutions.
What are those going to look like? I mean, CES just happened at the same time, and of course, on the one hand, you're talking about agentic, and they're talking about robotic. Really, they're not talking agentic so much. It's more, robotics, which are agentic, physical agentic, right? In the case of this, in the case of some of CS. So, what do robotics look like in retail exactly? What does it do? Is it manufacturing automation? I mean, what is it exactly?
One of the simple use cases is inventory management. So you no longer need a human to understand in a big grocery store if a product is out of stock, because you've got these robots that can roll up and down the aisle and detect when items are out of stock. Now the other big piece is for inventory reconciliation. For years, and when I grew up in retail, in January or February, depending on your fiscal year, you had to reconcile your inventory at the end of the year. That meant closing the store and having staff stay overnight to count every item on the shelf. Now, robotics with computer vision, they can count what's on the shelf without having to have staff stay overnight, and think of the efficiencies in that respect. So those are two of the kind of basic use cases for how a robot can work in grocery or for inventory reconciliation.
That is smart.
So I'm kind of interested in it. You said it was the basement where all the kind of the smaller, maybe newer. What was the energy there? Is there an opportunity for the small guys because of what's going on with the agentic stuff, and it feels like, and maybe I even should play this clip from Scott Beachuk, who's kind of talking about this. Does it feel like the atmosphere is right, or a little bit more accepting of these smaller companies that are razor focused, that are AI native, that are focused on retail tech and agent? Does it give them a more of an opportunity to disrupt now than it may have in years past?
I think you are seeing some of that. It is going to depend on the type of organization and how risk adverse they may be. Um, so we are seeing, and in the innovation hub as well, you are seeing some of these, what I might call ankle biters, that are doing a good job of showing they've got good tech. They may also have very favorable licensing or low effort to implement, where they may be outcome based, and you don't have to take a 3-year contract out with them, and they're willing to work with you and help you implement the technology on a couple of simple use cases and land and expand. So there's always going to be some of those large brands, retailers that are risk adverse, and they're not going to go in that direction, and they may go in the direction of like my former employer, Adobe. We always had a statement when I was there that nobody got fired by putting in Adobe. So, but it depends on how risk adverse you may be on how some of these companies, but we are seeing some of them, especially in the AI space, because you can come up with a use case and they may be able to execute on that, whatever that may be, as a chatbot or like the inventory examples I just talked about. And it may not disrupt the whole business in the Apple Cart, but it could start to prove some positive results.
So one last question. Was there any one company, and you take your pick, one up and coming company that's kind of providing to retail, or one retailer who really stood out to you for things that they were doing with, it could be with AI, but it could also be with something else, just really stood out because you're thinking, okay, these guys get it?
So I took a tour of Manhattan when I was there, of certain of stores, and I didn't get to all of them. And there were, a lot of stuff on LinkedIn about who's doing something cool in Manhattan. There's a luxury brand, Italian. They've been around longer than I ever thought. They've been around for over 30 years, called Golden Goose.
Okay.
And they sell expensive footwear, but they've also in apparel and streetwear, and they have an amazing experience down in Soho that I thought was pretty impressive. It was not high tech, but it definitely talked about their legacy of high quality craftsmanship. They had a tailor downstairs on the floor below, because in Manhattan there's multi-level stores.
Right.
They had somebody a cobbler that could help fix your shoes or personalize your shoes. So that was one that really, and there was, it was funny because we went into the Target in Soho as well, and they've got a concept store in Manhattan that looks nothing like the Target in my neighborhood. Because my Target in my neighborhood is awful.
Yeah, right.
But the one in Manhattan,
everything on the floor.
Yeah, right. But the one in Manhattan, they've got a concept store, and after New Year's, everybody's starting to go towards Valentine's Day, and you definitely felt it was Valentine's Day in that Target.
Wow.
So Yeah, and then on the vendor side, I'm going to do a shameless plug for some folks that I've worked with. There's one company that's doing really good stuff in inventory and merchandising called Invent.ai, around supply chain and product information. And then the other one that I'm on payroll is TalkDesk, where we're doing some pretty interesting stuff with commerce orchestration, and being able to do that multi-agent experience from, kind of what Google's talking about, but without having to sell your soul to Google. So those are a couple of companies that stand out for me. And there's obviously the big boys doing some interesting stuff, like Microsoft.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we are we're a little over. The conversation was so good, we just lost track of time here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we didn't even touch on the retail media network piece. That's also been out there, but you saw a little bit about that too. But we could probably
at a
have
high
whole
at a high
20
level, just
minutes
tell
on
us at a high level, very quick. Tell us what it is.
Yeah. Good.
So the retail media networks is Amazon ads, but everybody wants to get in the game. Everybody wants to monetize. So if you go to Best Buy, Home Depot, Sephora, they all have a retail media network now, and they're allowing their endemic and non-endemic vendors to advertise on their properties, and some of them now in their physical stores. So it's retailers finding new ways to monetize their traffic, and that's by taking ad dollars from their vendors.
That's
and
That'll
displaying
be worth
and
it. Let's plan on it a little bit down the road this year, having a conversation a little more about that. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, is that like an equivalent to like what they do with just pure content media networks? Like, is that the idea, the driver behind that? Because it sounds quite.
yeah. I mean, if you look at an Amazon P&L, Amazon advertising on Amazon makes more money to the bottom line than them selling products.
Yeah.
So it's basically everybody trying to replicate that model of, I have a digital or physical property and I have traffic, and you may want to get in front of that traffic, and I'm going to charge you for the ability to be in front of that traffic.
Yep. Smart.
Yeah, that's the profitable revenue, right? The profit margins for that kind of stuff are way better than the actual physical goods profit margins. We need to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
All right, Michael. So you have your own consultancy, but you work with other companies. You want to do a little plug for what you do before we let you roll?
Klein for Retail. I help both retailers and brands do a better job of talking to their audience, and I'm also heading up marketing at this time for TalkDesk, as I mentioned, which is a CX and contact center provider. We work closely with a lot of CRM, relevant to the CRM players. We've got close relationships with a lot of the CRM providers in order to deliver great experiences. But I'm a retail guy. Grew up on the floor, and have been fortunate to have a career with the industry that I love. And anybody, in addition to retail, if you want to talk baseball, I'm your guy.
Now we're talking.
Baseball, or more specifically, Yankees baseball.
Yankee baseball.
I'm guessing this.
Cody
Paul
Bellinger.
knows this. I just played 3 games this past weekend because I still throw on the tools of ignorance, and I just caught 16 innings this past weekend.
Yeah, he's a catcher, which is astounding.
Are you talking about in real life?
Yeah, no, he
Real
actually
life.
is a catcher.
And are your knees still being able to hold that up? Man, that's
it's astounding. I mean,
wow. I used to be a
Most
catcher
of the-
in my
most-
teens.
I wouldn't go close. I couldn't. I can't even kneel that long
Not now.
without equipment.
All right, man. Well, are you in the Northeast?
No, I live in the desert. I live in Palm Desert now.
Yeah.
I just moved after 25 years in the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
But I can't get rid of my New York accent, and I'm
Yeah.
still a city boy. So
Look, if you ever watch the intro to EWPK, it says live from New York, and all of that's literally just what's going on in my head. It has nothing to do with the actual show.
What are you, Billy Joel? You're in a New
My
York
head
state of
is
mind?
always live from New York. Right.
yeah.
All
Well,
right.
you can't see it; it's covered up. But I got I got some baseball stuff back there, and there's a big Joe DiMaggio book and a little replica
I know the
Yankee
book,
Stadium
actually.
on my shelf there.
It happens to be a very good
All right.
biography of DiMaggio, if it's the one I think it is.
So thanks for taking time before you report for pitchers and catchers, apparently. And all right, Michael Klein, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it.
Guys, good
And on
to see you.
behalf of Michael, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and let's see. Yeah, there she is.
Minnie.
Hey, Minnie. Minnie, we might need an updated picture of Minnie. It's been a little while.
I think Ann would give us one.
All right. Well, in the meantime, we will see you next week if we survive all this snow and all that stuff. I'm hoping we do. See you.